Hey everyone, Scott Hansen here from NFL Red Zone, and you're watching the Super Fantasy Bros podcast. 1 hour of commercial-free podcasting starts now. Enjoy the show.
Oh, this shit's lit.
Oh, here we go.
Are we live?
We're live. We're good. We're going. We're rolling.
All right. Welcome back to the Super Fantasy Bros podcast. We did miss a week. Our apologies there, but as always, DM us any questions you may have, and we'll always get back to you. But today, we are back and ready to hit the ground running. Week one was a roller coaster of emotions, ton of studs, duds, a lot to break down. So in today's episode, we're going to run through some quick calm or chaos, trust or bust. And we're going to recap the biggest questions from week one before getting into our rankings breakdown for week two, giving you our start sit of the week and a new segment at the end. So stay tuned for that. A lot to cover this early in the season. So let's get right into it, talking some quarterbacks. Calm or chaos on Joe Burrow. He had 8.06 points. He was 21 of 29 passing, so not a bad completion percentage there, but only 164 yards, no passing touchdowns. He did throw no picks. 4 carries for 15 yards and a fumble. He didn't lose the fumble, but still fumbled. So, calm or chaos here for Joe B.
They looked rough without your boy.
They did.
They looked real rough.
They did.
They looked rough without Mixon and T. I think it's that's just already a downgraded running back, and no T is.
And no Jamar for all of training camp. I think Joe Burrow is going to be just fine.
Till when though? I mean, like when? Because I'm a little chaos until I don't know when. I needed a couple weeks.
They always start slow.
They do.
I'm not against in a couple weeks he'll be back to fully same old Joe Burrow. But this week I have Joe Burrow at 16. I'm not confident in Joe Burrow at the Chiefs. He scares me a little bit.
No, yeah, I picked up Chiefs D.
But they just start slow. He still might not have T. I think if T comes back, I'd probably push him closer to top 12 again. But there's a lot of good quarterbacks with a lot of good matchups this week. So
I like the matchup for Joe Burrow this week because they're going to have to throw. And if he has T back another week with Jamar after no training camp, I don't know. I think just the volume that he's going to have to throw is going to make up for whatever fantasy value he is lacking. Yes. In other words.
We'll see. I'm definitely still calm, but there's a hint of chaos early in the season. Just a hint.
Definitely.
You're probably starting him if you have him. Moving on to some quarterbacks that performed well. Trust or bust for Baker Mayfield. 37.66 points. 24 of 30 for 289 yards. 4 touchdowns. No picks. And also added 21 yards on the ground on only 3 carries. It was the Commanders' defense. So is this trust or bust here?
Trust.
I don't know when it happened, but I'm a Baker fan.
Baker is legit. He finished the top 10 quarterback in fantasy last year, off to a hot start. I don't know. He has a great offense. There's not really any position that they're lacking. Cade Otton is serviceable. That would be the biggest question mark. But I think the Bucs are going to be competitive in every game that they play this season. And as long as Baker's under center, I like his fantasy value.
Yeah, I'm all in. I'm trusting.
Yep.
Yeah, I think I'm trusting too. I think he's definitely a solid low-end QB1. Maybe a little bit slept on in drafts, but obviously just not a sexy quarterback to roll out there every week. But I think based on matchups, I'm comfortable starting him this week. We just talked about Joe Burrow. I might start Baker Mayfield over Joe Burrow this week.
Yeah,
Hell
his
yeah,
Browns reputation brings his draft stock down every year, and then he proves that he's good again.
It's crazy. Detroit Lions, obviously their defense isn't the easiest to play against, but Baker, I think, was only one of 2 Stafford was only one of 2 quarterbacks last week to throw for over 300 yards. So Baker gets that same defense. I think he can definitely move the ball still.
Yeah, buddy.
Last trust or bust, Jaden Daniels for quarterback anyways. 28.16 points, 17 to 24 for 184 yards, and then also added 16 carries for 88 yards and 2 rushing touchdowns. He did fumble 3 times, but somehow did not lose any of them. So kind of some fumble luck there. Either way, trust or bust for Jaden Daniels.
Trust.
I don't know.
I'm trusting any quarterback with that kind of rushing upside, and his completion percentage wasn't horrible. I mean, I don't know. He looked good in his pro debut.
I guess you're right. Like how many weeks
It's
is he
like
gonna rush for 2 though?
He might not rush for 2,
many,
but if it
but
was 1, that's still 22 points. I'd still
Yeah,
take that
You're right. I
performance.
guess.
and it's not like he's not going to throw for a touchdown every week either.
Yeah, no passing touchdowns this game. He's going to get one of those here and there.
Are
So
you, are you starting him over Burrow then?
this
I
week,
would.
Yeah.
I,
Oh my.
I
All right.
at 7 this week.
Fine. You guys are so confident.
Yeah,
I'm
I think
in.
I have him at 6.
All right.
Yeah.
6 or 7.
You swayed me.
I
You swayed me.
think I'm more high on Jaden Daniels in 4-point passing touchdown leagues for sure, because like he's gonna get more rushing, he's gonna get the rushing yards. He'll have a safer floor than most like Stafford type quarterbacks. But even in 6-point passing touchdowns, I think Jaden Daniels is still gonna be just fine.
Agreed.
All right, moving on to running back, calm or chaos, Javonte Williams.
What do you think?
3.3 points, 52% of the snaps, so he did lead the backfield there. 8 carries for 23 yards, 1 catch on 2 targets for 0 yards. Calm or chaos?
Come on, bro.
Chaos.
Been saying this. This dude's buns. You love him, Matt.
Booty butt.
No,
I
that's
used
your
to.
man's.
No,
That's your
Don't be trained-
man's.
He is a bad train to be on.
horrible train. He is. I left him in 2022. So,
I was all out all off season, and then like a couple weeks before the draft, his draft stock started ticking up, his ADP started ticking up. I'm like,
For
dude, he's
no
just,
got
reason,
bamboozled.
though.
it was just volume. It was supposed to be just volume. Once they got rid of P. Ryan, it was like he's gonna catch more passes. I was selling myself again and told myself
McLaughlin
to get
clears.
hurt. Yeah, McLaughlin obviously looked better on fewer snaps, and I think he did end up getting more touches on fewer snaps as well. So
Indeed, he did.
definitely like Jaleel McLaughlin if he's still out there in your league just as like a flyer. But I just think the Broncos are going to be bad in general this year, so I don't really love any of them. So it's
Nope.
chaos for Javonte. I think it's chaos for the Broncos. Hard pass.
Trash.
Moving on to some positive running back performances. J.K. Dobbins, the ghost of J.K. Dobbins, 22.9 points. He did play 58% of the snaps, 10 carries for 135 yards, a touchdown, caught all 3 of his targets for 4 yards. Trust or bust for J.K.
I don't know, man. This is a tough
This
one.
is tough. This is probably the hardest one because I want to trust so bad. He deserves to be good.
Yeah,
He's just battled injuries throughout his whole career, so that's always lingering in the back of my mind. But I mean, obviously, with the touches he had, he was explosive. Just 10 carries, not sure I'm a huge fan of that, but he definitely made the most of them. It's not like he's going to average 13 yards a carry every week, but definitely a great start for JK.
Yeah.
I just need to see some more before I'm fully bought in.
And
Yeah.
their offense as a whole looked a lot better than I thought it was going to look. I thought they were going to be trash.
Do.
yeah. I thought they were going to be bad. I think the Raiders obviously gave them a little bit of a boost in general anyways, but their offensive line definitely improved. Joe Alt is a beast. He was babying Max Crosby in that game.
He had him in handcuffs.
Yeah, it was crazy. As for a guy that bet on Max Crosby Defensive Player of the Year future, it's a bad look. But J.K. Dobbins in general, I think I'm definitely leaning towards trust. I think this is what we've seen when he's been able to be on the field. It's just he's never been able to be on the field. So
Yep.
I'm trusting the talent here. I think he's better than Gus. I think he's going to get more opportunities to be the lead back here. He might get snubbed from some of those like goal line touches for Gus at some points because we've seen that in the past, but still led the team in snap percentage, and obviously looked explosive. And even in past 2022, he had 92 carries, 5.6 yards per carry. Even as a rookie season, 134 carries, 6 yards a carry. So he's consistently, when he's able to get the ball, is getting a lot of yards. So I'm in on J.K. Dobbins. I'm trusting.
And he has the Panthers this week, so
Exactly.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Immediate
I got
start.
20 this week. So solid RB2 play if you got him off waivers in some leagues, which is crazy that he was even out there. Last one here for running backs, Tony Pollard, 18.4 points, 61% of the snaps, 16 carries for 82 yards and a touchdown, and also caught 3 of 4 targets for 12 yards. Is Tony Pollard back?
I'm afraid to say it looks like it. I know they want to get Tajay more involved, which I get, but even in a split backfield, we've seen in the past what Pollard could do. I think new scenery definitely helped them. I expected this Titans offense to kind of be abysmal, but Tony Pollard looked like the one bright spot that they had. So I think that they're going to continue to use him. Obviously, Tajay is going to get his, but I like Pollard this year moving forward.
Yep, me as well.
Yeah, I gotta trust him as well. I think just the volume there is gonna keep him with a solid floor, especially for where you drafted him. Last year it sucked because like you drafted him so high and he was not performing to that RB1 standard. I don't think you need him to perform to that RB1 standard this year. I think getting RB2 numbers out of Pollard this year feels good. So 18.4 points in week 1 feels rock solid. I feel like even if he doesn't score, he's going to get that 10 to 12 points. Still going to lead this backfield in snaps. So Spears is going to take away some receiving some games. Obviously, he played 45% of the snaps too, but got to trust Pollard for now.
You know.
All right, let's move on to wide receiver. Marvin Harrison Jr. 1.4 points, 90% of the snaps. He was on the field pretty much the whole game, but only caught one pass on 3 targets for 4 yards. Calm or chaos on Marv?
It's
Whose
not
job
him.
is it to get him
It's
the ball?
not him. Why would
It's
he?
not.
Why would Kyler ever say that?
Yeah.
That was a wild thing to say. I understand where he was like trying to come from, but it just came off so bad. My only mindset is that he's saying like the plays are drawn up. He's not being targeted in by the offensive coordinator. So like if he's not his number one, if he's not the main target on the play, you're not going to throw him the ball. You're looking for
If
your
he's
first
running
read
routes,
first.
he should be.
Yeah,
should be.
sure,
I
but you
agree.
like.
I
Bro,
agree.
it's like-
I'm 100% in the camp that like it's 85% Kyler should be the one in charge of getting Marvin Harrison Jr. the ball. Like
I'd be like,
how's
I am
he
not
not?
throwing this ball to fucking Greg Dortch. This is going to Marv.
Bro,
Yeah,
just like
I mean-
make your reads, dude. Just look around. I understand it's hard, but like, bro, he's
yeah.
Missed him
quarterback. Come on.
booty butt naked for a long touchdown.
Yeah, I think
pissing me off.
they'll make it a point this week to kind of get him the ball. I'm still saying very calm on Marvin Harrison Jr. Obviously, number one
agree.
is a rookie. I think as long as the Cardinals are competitive, he'll be fully out there, and I think he's give me all Marvin Harrison Jr. If
Yeah,
people are like
easy to-
panicking, I'm buying. Like, give me Marvin Harrison Jr. I think he'll be all right.
Do you have him in any leagues?
I do in multiple leagues. So
And you still feel good?
yes, I'm in. I'm still all the way in.
I think Sean's just that big of a Kyler believer.
It's also just week 1. Like I can't overreact to week 1. I've seen stinker. Devontae Smith had a donut week 1 last year, and people were ready to jump off ship. Like he was perfectly fine.
You wanted to trade him
many
to me.
different.
I almost did.
You
but
almost did for Darnell
I kept
Mooney.
myself calm, and it worked out
Dude!
very well. That was
I
like
would
2
have
years ago,
clowned
I
you
think.
forever.
That would have been so bad.
That would have been the best trade of my life.
That would have been the worst trade of my life. I've had some bad ones out there, but yeah, staying calm on Marvin Harrison Jr. Probably also staying calm on the next one here. Chris Olave, 3.1 points, 2 catches on 2 targets for 11 yards. Calm or chaos?
I mean, in a game where they scored, what, like 30 something?
47.
47?
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm staying calm. It doesn't help that 3 of those passing touchdowns came in the first half. It hurts that not one of them was to Olave, but the second half they really didn't have to pass much, so he was like non-existent as well as all the other pass catchers. But for now, I'm staying calm. But Olave has never really looked elite in my eyes, so definitely going to keep a close eye on him moving forward.
Yeah,
I need
mean,
to see how many throws Derek Carr threw.
He was very consistent last year. I think this was kind of game script that pulled him out of this game where like they were up in an instant. I'm sure he was probably not getting too much separation when they had all these other options because pretty much the Panthers defense was wide open all day. Derek Carr only threw 23 passes, by the way.
Yeah, that's
So
what I was waiting for you to.
yeah.
So
So
I
it's
guess
like-
it's not that bad. It's not the
I hope-
worst.
They're going to be in a lot more games where they're trailing. I think even this week against the Cowboys, I'm fully confident rolling Olave right back out there. Like they're going to be trailing, they're going to be throwing. I don't think the Saints are going to be some dominant team. This is kind of going to happen twice this year when they play the Panthers 2 times. That's about it.
Yeah.
Staying calm.
I'll stay calm.
For now.
Moving on to some wide receivers that boomed. Alan Lazard, 26.9 points, 6 catches on 9 targets for 89 yards and 2 touchdowns. Are we trusting Alan Lazard?
Fuck no, baby.
Why not though? That's his boy.
Uh,
That's his boy.
I get that, but I don't know. I need to see it more. We've
Where was
seen
Mike Will?
Wasn't the second touchdown garbage time?
I
Wasn't
think
that?
it was.
I think it was from Tyrod Taylor. I think that was the last score.
Yeah,
too.
I don't. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
but
think Mike Williams is still getting back to full health too. So I think that's what it's going to take away from Lazard later down the line.
and how many targets did Gabbard have? Definitely not as many as he should have.
It was close.
That's-
I think he had like 6. No, he had 11 targets. He had more than
Oh my
Lazard.
God, what the fuck?
He had 6 for
What?
60. Again,
I
a couple of
swore he
those
had
were
like
garbage
60.
time as well. Down the like that last drive, it was pretty solid from Tyrod Taylor, just quickly getting it into the open receiver wherever you could find it. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not trusting Alan Lazard, but he's worth a
Y'all are some
scoop
haters.
if he's out there. He's
I
definitely
mean,
worth
I'm
a scoop.
starting him in Dynasty.
Yeah,
I wouldn't mind starting him
you-
this week. I wouldn't be too upset about it.
I wouldn't be like angry about it per se, but I think like down the road, I think like we said, Mike Williams is probably going to get healthier, get more involved. I think Lazard's still going to be in the mix, but Garrett's going to be the number one. Brees is still going to be probably the number 2 target, and then after that, Lazard could be number 3. Could have a solid role here. I think he's worth adding, but I'm not fully trusting until I see it a couple more times.
Agreed.
We've seen Lazard have big games in the past.
Yep.
But
And then
it's been a while.
absolute duds.
Yeah. We shall see there. Jameson Williams, 24.4 points, 5 catches on 9 targets for 121 yards and a touchdown. Are we trusting J-Mo?
Yeah, dog.
Yeah, that offense is just
They're gonna be
they
moving
put
the
up too
ball
many
like crazy.
points to not trust him.
And I mean, he's not going to be seeing 9 targets every week, but honestly, all it takes is 4 or 5 targets for him, and he could have a 75-yard touchdown. Like,
Yeah.
he has that big playability. Amon's going to get his. Obviously, he wasn't fed like the number
Not at
1 this
all.
past week, but that's going to change.
Yeah.
He's going to be a big part of their game plan week in, week out. But I think after Amon, their number 2 might be Gibbs, Laporta, but I feel like the Lions are just going to throw so much that everybody's going to get their fair share.
The Lions have 4 listed wide receivers on their roster.
Yeah, I see that.
4.
It's literally just Amon and J-Mo on the outsides. So, and Amon's going to be in the slot a lot of the time too. So yeah, I'm definitely trusting J-Mo as a flex option. I'm not pushing him into like wide receiver 2 territory or anything. I do think he's still behind Amon, behind Laporta, as like the third passing option, if not 4th, if you want to count Gibbs, like you said. So I think J-Mo is going to be a little bit more of a boom or bust flex option, but the booms are going to look like this. I'm not going to be against starting him week in and week out. He can win you some weeks.
Yeah, no.
All right, moving on to tight end. Comber Chaos. Let's just talk about all of the tight ends in general here. 90% of them. Laporta, Njoku, McBride, Kittle, Kelsey, Goddard, Andrews, Engram, and Kincaid all finished with fewer than 10 points. I feel like it's just kind of calm on all tight ends this week.
Yeah.
Like maybe there's
It's
some
week
that are
1.
worse than others, but it's week 1. Let's just kind of roll them back out there. You're not picking up someone and throwing them in unless it's likely, and even then, we'll talk about him in a second. So
All right, yeah. Because I was gonna say I'm probably most chaotic on Mark Andrews.
I'm still not that chaotic. I think they downplayed the car accident a little bit. Like he's still probably recovering from that. He did still play more snaps. He did run a good amount of routes as well. I think he's going to be more involved moving forward. But I do think it could be like a 2 tight end offense because they do run a lot of 2 tight end sets more than most teams in the league. So
Because the receivers aren't the greatest also. So I
Yeah.
think Lamar's best bet is to have 2 tight ends out there with Zay Flowers.
yeah, I'm not fully chaotic on Andrews yet. I'm still going to stay calm, roll them back out there this week, see what happens. But if it seems like it's the likely show moving forward, guess that moves right into it. Trust or bust on Isaiah Likely after that 26.1 point performance.
Bro, you don't just get 12 targets and then disappear.
I don't think he's going to disappear by any means. I think he's definitely going to be a part of this offense. Right now, I think he's still going to be behind Andrews in the long run, but I don't want to overreact to week 1. I don't think he's surpassed Mark Andrews by any means. But Likely's been talented. We've known this. When Andrews is not on the field, Likely's clearly been a top 5 fantasy tight end in general. So he's got the talent. It's year 3. They want to get him more involved in this offense. We saw it down the stretch last year.
Just imagine his stats with that touchdown at the end.
I know.
You
He's
would've
gross.
went to banana land.
I think he's definitely startable this week. I think I have him as a top 10 play. I think Mark Andrews is still also going to be a top 10 play. I think both of them are going to be used a lot in this offense. So that's just my take for now. But it's early. I can't go too chaos on Mark Andrews after 1 week.
No, I know.
He could end up
Like,
being the next Gronk and you know who.
Could be. And they're also not going to be down in many games as well. I think there's going to be more Derrick Henry, Lamar focus games where it's a lot of running. So They're down to the Chiefs. Chiefs are very good. All right, that's it for our recap of last week. Let's move into week 2 preview. We have our rankings, so if you do have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat regarding start sits this week. But I have some questions for you guys. Let's start at the quarterback position again. What do we make of Anthony Richardson? An up and down game against the Texans. Still had him throw for 200 plus yards and 50 plus rushing yards. Is he a top 5 fantasy quarterback this week?
Yeah, buddy.
I have him at 5.
I have him, me as well. But I mean, even with an up and down game, he was able to produce 34 fantasy points. I mean, that's just no reason to shy away from him not being top 5. In my opinion.
He's a menace.
Yeah, I think you have to trust him for sure. I think he's going to run more than he did in that game as well. He only had 6 carries, still made 56 yards out of it. I think he's going to use those legs a little bit more moving forward. He only threw 19 passes, but those deep balls to Alec Pierce were just insane. Insane. I think Green Bay this week is going to be a lot easier of a matchup. We saw the Eagles kind of do whatever they wanted in the second half against that defense. So Anthony Richardson should be just fine. I have him at 5 as well. Trust him. Roll him out there.
Yep.
How about rookie Jaden Daniels? I know we talked about him earlier. Is he instantly a top 10 fantasy quarterback for you this week, Matt? I think we both agreed we had him at like 7. T-Gods, do you have him top 10?
No. I have him at 11. Dude, I
trust you. I feel that.
It's the same reason why I didn't want to draft Marvin. I was arguing with Cass. It's just like rookies, man. I'm scared of rookies.
They are scary.
They're my top 3 biggest fears.
He gets the Giants this week, and he can't crack your top 10.
Dude.
The G-men are buns, so that's why I got him at 7. I'm in. I understand you still being hesitant. I was hesitant last year around a couple of guys as well. You can always be hesitant early on, but I'm jumping on the Jaden Daniels train at this point. I'm all in.
I don't hate it. I just
confident.
Rookies.
Confident.
Maybe if the matchup wasn't as juicy, he might not have cracked my top 10, but just seeing him perform last week, first week as a pro, and then he gets the Giants, who we just saw Sam Darnold look good against. I mean,
Come on, you love Sam Darnold.
I love him as a running back. Quarterback, not so much.
Top 12.
He should have been.
He was crazy those first couple of weeks. He was crazy. Yeah, Jaden Daniels, just the rushing upside is too high to ignore, I think, for me.
Agreed.
I don't think we have the news official yet for Achane still, but moving on here, Mostert is out. It seems like Achane's going to go. If Achane's active, you still have to roll him out there, right? And if not, is Jeff Wilson startable either way? Jalen Wright, what's the deal with this Dolphins backfield tonight?
If Achane's playing, you're starting him. I have him at 14 only because he is going to be a game time decision, might be on like some sort of pitch count. But if I had to go an alternative route, I think I'm skipping over Jeff Wilson, and I think I'm going right to the rookie Jalen Wright.
I don't know. I might just stay away from all of them if he's not playing.
Yeah, I mean, it depends. Like, it depends on your
situation.
You
saw last year with Achane, like a rookie running back, Dolphins offense, they somehow always just go crazy.
Achane's gross. He's literally a wide receiver. I think he had 7 for 76 last week. So if he's on the field, even in a limited variety, I'm still starting Achane in any league I have him. I have him at 11, so I am a little bit more nervous than I usually would be. Short week, sprained ankle, even if he still might be limited there, but I think it's still worth the risk. Whereas I think I'd probably lean towards Jeff Wilson a little bit just on the other side. I know Jeff Wilson's kind of ugly. If you're forced in a situation where you have to start one of them, I still like Jeff Wilson. He got work last week.
He had 5 carries, brother.
I know, but he still was involved, and now with completely no Mostert, he's gonna be involved again. He like obviously McDaniel trusts him to keep him around and keep rolling him out there.
Yeah, and he knows the offense
more. Those 5 carries, knows the offense. He's a little bit more trustworthy. He's not great. Don't get me wrong. He's Jeff Wilson, and he's easily also an injury risk. He gets banged up all the time too. But I'd say I'd start Jeff Wilson if I want to be a little bit safer. If I want to go for the risky play, I agree. I think Jalen Wright could have some sneaky upside if Achane's out. Both only if Achane's out. If Achane's playing, I think I'm just avoiding the other 2 for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
100%.
Not worth the risk.
Nope.
Whack, not worth.
Whack.
Moving on to the Commanders running backs. How did you rank the two of them this week? Both played 50% of the snaps. Both had 10 plus fantasy points. Are the Commanders going to be able to sustain this? Do you have either inside your top 20?
I have B-Rob at 20, and I have Eckler 29.
Got B-Rob 22, Eckler 33. I think both are fairly ranked for me. T-Gods, where you got them?
Yeah, I got B right in the middle at 21, and I have Eki 30.
Yeah.
Matchup is just super juice for the entire Commanders offense.
Yeah, I think it's probably their best matchup. It's definitely for this rushing side of the offense anyways. B-Rob obviously got the touchdown. I think he's going to be in line to score again against the Giants. Eckler's not going to get many carries, but if this game ends up being close, which the spread indicates it might be, Eckler's still going to be involved in the passing game as well. Dump ball for the rookie when he doesn't decide to run. So
what's a little nerve-wracking is B-Rob is clearly going to dominate the rushing attempts, but I think him and Eckler had the same amount of catches.
Yeah.
Which is
3 catches for 49 yards is pretty impressive for Robinson as well. So I think both are going to be involved. I think Robinson is still the favorite. I had him as a favorite coming into the season. I think he's still going to be my favorite moving forward. Definitely with the goal line work and everything, and the one getting majority of the carries. But Eckler, all right, is a flex, low floor flex if you need somebody to plug in.
What a shame, man.
yeah.
Bye week fill-in. He's old, man. It happens.
He sucks.
All right. We did talk about Marvin Harrison Jr. Just wanted to be curious where you guys had him this week going up against the Rams. Is he still top 15? Did you bump him down because you're nervous?
I have him at 21.
Yeah. I'm at
After
17.
3 targets, there's no way he was touching my top 15.
Touched my top 15. I got him at 13. I'm in.
Of course you do.
I'm in.
There's just no. I
Just
can't give you.
mulched.
I cannot give you one reason to
Yeah,
put
but
him
that's
up
Cooper
there.
Kupp.
Oh, no, wait. I'm talking about the Lions. The Lions are playing the Rams. He's playing the Rams. So not Cup. J-Mo just mulched. Yeah. Honestly, it's probably just like blind faith in the fact that I still believe in Marvin Harrison Jr. And I think they're going to make it an effort to force feed him this week because of all of the reports, all of the headlines, blah, blah, blah. Like, I think he's going to see 8 to 10 targets this week. So that's my reasoning. If Marvin Harrison Jr. is getting 8 to 10 targets, he's going to be a top 15 play. But
Bart said, "Don't sleep on Eki."
I
Sleeping.
think we're asleep. I think we're sound asleep.
If
That's a
I'm
solid
starting
flex.
Eki any week, it's this week.
Yeah, it's a good week to start him, I guess. All right, Drake London, super quiet week 1 against the Steelers. Kind of quiet in general for the Falcons as a whole, aside from Kyle Pitts finally scoring a touchdown. Who cares, though? Are you rolling Drake London back out there against the Eagles this week on Monday night?
Hell yeah. I got him at
guess you got
15.
to. Yeah,
I'm
I
at
have him right
18.
around there.
Bro, they're gonna have to throw. They're throwing the ball a million times.
Yeah, I agree. I think Slay is no longer lockdown Slay at this point. I think the Eagles secondary is beatable as an Eagles fan. So Drake London, I think he's going to be fine to start in most leagues. I'm starting him in
Read on
leagues.
him.
Not giving up on Drake London after 1 week. Definitely still think he's going to be rock solid moving forward.
Is there anyone you
think-
would give up on after 1 week?
Yeah, probably. If
All
it was
right,
like
all right.
someone, if Kyle Pitts sucked this week, I was fully giving up on Kyle Pitts already.
Okay,
Like,
all right.
Did you
All
give
right.
up on Javante?
I'm pretty much giving up on Javante. Yeah,
All
I
right.
mean, we said chaos, so I might still have to roll him out there in leagues where I'm forced to if I don't have the depth. But yeah, it's
Ew.
ugly, horrible. But Drake London, I'm not giving up on.
No.
All
I
right.
think this game could be high scoring, just like last week, Eagles and Packers.
Yeah. Yeah. How about the Jaguars pass catchers, Christian Kirk and Evan Engram? Both disappeared week 1. Are they still playable week 2 against the Browns?
Ingram for sure. For how bad
Ingram,
tight
I
ends
have
are.
8.
Yeah.
I'm at 7.
And where do I have Christian
Yeah,
Kirk? I
Ingram
have
at
at
6.
34. Definitely more nervous on Kirk, but then again, it wasn't like Brian Thomas made the most with his targets, but I think him, Gabe Davis, and Christian Kirk all had like 4 each. So it wasn't like anybody was really getting like force fed. Brian Thomas just ended up making the most of what he got, but I'm praying for a Christian Kirk bounce back.
Yeah, it was such a weird game script. I mean, Trevor Lawrence completed 12 passes in the whole game. He only threw 21. Last year, the lowest he ever threw in a game was 29. I think that's probably more realistic for the Jags moving forward. I don't think Tank Bigsby is going to get 12 carries a game. I think he's probably going to get maybe 6 to 8. ETN's still going to be the guy there, but he's still probably not going to get that many carries either. Jaguars are going to be in more close games than they want to be, so I'm still trusting both. I got Kirk at 28. I got Ingram at 6. I think both are still going to be fine to keep rolling out there. Don't overreact there either.
I hope so.
All right.
I hope so too. I do like Brian Thomas Jr. though.
Pissed me off.
Oh my god.
I don't want to talk about that guy.
Yeah, don't talk about that guy to me either. I took the Jags live -3.5 at that time, and it was they were literally about to score to go up 24-7, and then fumbles into the end zone. The next play, Tyreek Hill 80-yard touchdown. Like, couldn't have been the worst timing for the bet in history. Yeah, that was a bad one. Bad beat. All right. Next one here, sticking with the tight ends after talking about Ingram. Dalton Kincaid went quiet week 1. Can we expect to bounce back tonight, or are you trying to find another option?
No, you're starting Kincaid. I have him at 4.
I never
Yeah.
understood the hype, and I still
Ooh.
don't. I don't.
Ooh, where you
Oh,
got
yeah,
it?
I
right
don't.
there.
Just he wasn't like amazing last year. Everyone loves him. I don't understand why everyone's so high on him.
I think
He was
it's
good
just
last year.
talent-wise,
He's alright.
but he's really never had the volume. Like Dawson
Yeah.
Knox has always eaten into that a little bit, and obviously Stephon Diggs was a target hog when he was there. But I think this year, people seeing Diggs gone, Gabe Davis gone, it opened up so many targets. The number 1 is now a rookie, so I expect a big bounce back for Kincaid.
I do too. He plays a lot in the slot, and the Dolphins' slot corner is like 9th worst in the league last year among all cornerbacks. So I think him and Shakir also could have pretty good games, but I think Kincaid specifically, I think they're going to make it an effort to get him the ball after such a quiet game.
Yeah.
Last week, the Cardinals, honestly, their game plan, it looked like, was like, don't let him throw to Kincaid, make him throw to the wide receivers that are all inexperienced and unpredictable, where like Kincaid, they knew was their safest option over the middle. So
Josh Allen said, "Fuck that! I'll just run this bitch."
exactly. So we could see that again, but I think we can expect Kincaid bounce back. I got him at 5, so I'm with you, Matt.
We got a question. Would you trade Worthy for Rice?
Yes.
In a heartbeat, without a doubt in my mind, Rashee Rice is gonna munch all year. I think Worthy's gonna be up and down. Hollywood's coming back. Hollywood's gonna take over some of those snaps as well at wide receiver. So Rashee Rice has been the consistent go-to guy for Mahomes last year total, I guess you could say. Second half of last year, start of this season already, playoffs last year. It's gonna be Rashee Rice. I think
Mason
he's
and
the
Worthy?
guy.
Mason and Worthy
Mason
for
and
DK.
Worthy for DK. Wait. What
No,
the
I would
hell?
just do Worthy for Rice straight up in a heartbeat.
If I could
over
do
me.
that,
Just do
I'd
that,
much
yeah.
rather do that.
Yeah.
DK didn't look great. What do you have? 3 fantasy points last week?
He's
Value
piped
for
too, I
Jordan
think.
Mason rest of season is it's kind of tough to view. It really just depends on how serious this tendonitis is for McCaffrey. I think right now you could try to sell high, but I think his value is going to be even higher if McCaffrey sits out again this week, which looks more than likely. So I would hold Mason, and I would probably hold him as a king's ransom until the McCaffrey owner gets desperate, or somebody else is desperate for a running back, or just
I
start
don't
him.
think I would give up Jordan Mason.
I think he's going to keep putting up points. Once McCaffrey's back, he's almost useless. So, like, you don't want to wait too long if you are trying to sell. But as it looks,
But what if it
McCaffrey's
lingers
banged up, could
all
linger all season,
year?
which is
Right.
terrifying.
Stop!
That's why
Don't say that.
I wouldn't get rid of him. I would hold on to him.
Yeah, I would hold on to it at least for this week. See what happens. See how what they continue to find out about McCaffrey's tendonitis, and like, is this going to be like something that shuts it down on IR? Because sitting out back-to-back weeks, at that point you might
Not a good
reconsider
look.
and be like, all right, let's shut him down for a month. And then Mason's value obviously skyrockets. So
And I mean, obviously, if their offense looks as good as it did, it was like they weren't even missing McCaffrey in a sense. Obviously, Jordan Mason is not Christian McCaffrey, but if you're gonna give your star running back that type of rest and have a guy like Jordan Mason in his place, why not?
completely agree there. Last question that I have: Brock Bowers absolutely munched in week 1, catching 6 of 8 targets, leading the Raiders in both categories. Does he bump right into a top 8 tight end option?
Are you
Have him
looking
at
at my
9.
ranks?
He's
I
right on the
mean,
cusp. Right on the
I got him at
cusp.
8 as well. Nat, you have Pitts over him?
Do I Pitts at 7 because I don't know why. I just swear to God, tight ends always munch against the birds, and
Yep.
That's fair.
like it's just a perfect matchup for Kyle Pitts. I feel like. So sorry, Bowers had to go to 9 this week. I'm sure rest of season he'll probably crack the top 8.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I got Bowers at 8. I got Pitts at 9. But yeah, I'm trusting Bowers at this point. Like, if I drafted Brock Bowers and someone that really stunk week 1, I'm not too scared to just roll Brock Bowers out there. I think he's going to be a big part of this offense, and obviously the Raiders are going to have to throw a ton against Baltimore. So,
Yep.
Might not be pretty, but he should still see some volume.
he will.
All right, let's do starts and sits for this week. T-God, start us off. Who is your start of the week?
My start of the week is Colby Parkinson. Not like anything really crazy. It's just because, obviously, what's his name? Come on,
Puka.
Puka. Yeah, because Puka's out, and they are playing the Cardinals,
Arizona.
who could put up points. Will they? Will Kyler do his job?
We'll see.
He will.
We don't know.
He will.
We
We
don't
shall
know.
see.
But yeah, there's not many options there. And Colby Parkinson, he looked good. He looked good in the
He's
last
solid.
game. Yeah, and he played 88% of the snaps. Still no Higbee. So yeah, it's Parkinson, Cup, and
Marcus Robinson, Tyler
Marcus
Johnson.
Robinson, Tyler Johnson.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Not
Kyron.
pretty. Kyron's going to munch.
Yay.
Yay.
But I agree. I think Colby Parkinson is definitely a solid tight end play, especially if you are missing Njoku this week. Good plug and play there.
Yeah, I'd even start him over some of the other guys that we were nervous about.
Yeah. I don't hate it at all. Matt, start of the week.
Start of the week. We talked about him a lot on this episode. I'm going to go Jaden Daniels. The matchup is just too good to discard in a sense. He looked good last week. 2 rushing touchdowns, no passing touchdowns, but I see that changing against this Giants team who, like I said earlier, Sam Darnold looked good against, and that's hard to do. So I think Jaden Daniels is going to put up another big stat line this week. I have no hesitation rolling him out there.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I think Jane Daniels should be a rock-solid quarterback. Before I do my start question in the chat, Alan Lazard, Christian Kirk, or Austin Eckler at flex? I'm still rolling Kirk out there. Give him another roll. You have to.
Yeah, you do have to, but I was just talking about earlier, Lazard, he's looking pretty juicy right now. He's looking pretty juicy. Come on.
He's looking juicy in the past.
If you need some crazy upside, I mean, I don't hate it. But like I mentioned earlier on the show, Christian Kirk had 1.9 points last year in week 1. And then the next week he had 21 points. So I think Christian Kirk could easily do that again. I think he's going to be a major part of this offense. I think they're going to have to throw the ball to beat Cleveland. I don't think their run defense is just going to let ETN run all over them and tank Bigsby or whatever. So, yeah. Christian Kirk for me. Play it safe. My start of the week, Chris Olave. Obviously, kind of a basic one, but don't overthink it for this one. It's kind of my mindset. Chris Olave was a wide receiver 16 last year. He's still going to be the number 1 on this team, number 1 passing option in general for the Saints. And they're going to have to throw a ton to try to keep up with the Cowboys offense this weekend. So start Chris Olave. Don't bench him. Don't be stupid.
All right.
You guys, back to you. Who's your sit of the week?
My sit of the week, Calvin Ridley. I love him, but this week I do not love him very much. He plays the Jets, and we know the Jets defense is great. And this could just be like a super low scoring game. Like the Texans or the Titans might not have to throw that much. And if they do throw, I mean, they're still they still got D-Hop and Boyd. And Pollard looked good. So I don't know. I don't really think the ball has to go to Ridley this week. So I don't know. Kind of against the Jets.
Man.
I'm yeah.
Don't like the matchup. Hate it. Good sit. Definitely sit Ridley.
Yes. I don't know how many people are starting him, but
yeah. I mean, deeper leagues, he's definitely a flex option for sure. So
yeah.
Matt, who you sitting?
My sit is going to be Aaron Jones going up against a stout 49ers defense. He had the Giants last week. I feel like the Giants are going to be a cheat code. Whoever's playing the Giants, start them. But last week we saw them hold Brees Hall to right around like 3 yards a carry. Brees is obviously a lot more involved in the passing game than Aaron Jones. So I just, based on the matchup, I think this is a good week to leave Aaron Jones on your bench and avoid that disappointment.
Yeah, and Brees got a lot of garbage time there too. So
Come on, Matt. Why you gotta do
I'm
me like that?
sorry.
Why you gotta
I'm
do me like
sorry.
that?
I'm trying to help you.
I'm starting Aaron Jones and Ridley this week.
all right, well, I'm sitting Zamir White.
Oh my god, I'm starting them too. I have all of them.
We're sitting on God's team. I apologize. But Zamir White was outsnapped, I think, like 60% to 38% to Alexander Madison. I think game script was a big part of that, but I think that same game script, except even worse, is going to happen at the Ravens. We saw Isaiah Pacheco. I think he only had like 45 yards rushing on 15 carries, so 3 yards per carry against Baltimore in that season opener. So I don't think Zamir White's going to be any better than Isaiah Pacheco. He doesn't catch many passes. He caught 2 of his 2 targets for 2 yards. I don't think that's going to be something we're going to love. And obviously he fumbled a week 1 as well. So a lot not going the right way for Zamir White. I think he might be back on the good side of things for week 3 against the Panthers. But at Baltimore, they're probably going to have Madison as the better pass catcher on the field more often. Sit Zamir White if you can.
Yeah, buddy.
All right.
You got to.
The guys has to sit his whole team.
Sit everybody. Put in the bench. All right. Before we wrap up, we're going to do a new segment for the podcast. We're going to do our best bet of the week. This will be our favorite money line or spread play. I guess we could also do totals, whatever really you're feeling, to be honest. But we'll keep track of our records with our picks throughout the season. We're just going to do 1 pick each. Not going to get too overcomplicated. This is to replace all of the game picks from last season. If you do have any questions on game picks and whatnot, feel free to drop those in the chat or hit us up on social media. More than happy to give our picks out there. But switching it up, best bet of the week. And I'll start us off. Give me the Steelers minus 2.5 at the Broncos all day long.
Yep.
I think the Broncos are arguably the worst team in football.
Yep.
A lot of people said it was going to be the Patriots. They won week 1 against the Bengals. I think they're going to be a frisky team. So Broncos are bad. I think Bo Nix is going to be chaotic all season. He's going to have some plays where it's going to be like, oh my God, how did that happen? And then he's going to throw 4 picks in the same game somehow. So I'm all out on the Broncos offense. The O-line's not great. They have no run game. Bo Nix is not good. They don't have many pass catchers. All out. The Steelers' defense is elite. We just saw them shut down the Falcons' offense easily. I think Denver's offense is even worse. I don't care that it's in Denver. Give me the Steelers by 3. Easily.
Did you see where Bo Nix, before he threw that pass in the triple coverage, the commentator was like, "Oh no."
He's been a wild card his whole career in college, and like in those passes in college you can get away with. You're just not going to get away with them at the NFL level. So, yeah, all in on the Steelers.
Yep.
Give me that minus 2.5. T-Gods, what do we got?
I have the Jags money line at home versus the Browns. The Jags, they looked good last week in the first half. Second half, they crumbled a little bit. But I mean, to almost beat the Dolphins, and we all know the Dolphins are like crazy good. And the Browns, like, bro, Deshaun Watson stinks, man.
So bad. Get him off.
He's so bad. And the Jags are so good. Give me Jags money line.
Yeah. I would have to lay that one a little bit, but I would lay that for sure.
Yep.
Matt, best bet of the week.
Best bet of the week, I'm going to take the 49ers spread at minus 5.5 at Minnesota. I just don't think Minnesota is going to be able to keep up with this team at all. Like I said, Aaron Jones was my sit. 49ers defense is stout as hell, and they have arguably one of the best offenses in the league, if not the best. I think this game could get ugly quick. Your best chance of them not covering is garbage time, where the Vikings are just chucking the ball, but I do not foresee that. I see a blowout in Minnesota.
Yeah, 5.5 feels low.
Yeah.
For the Niners. I feel like most of their spread should be like 8.5, 9.5. Like just
Right,
release a
2
touchdown.
field goals against fucking Sam Darnold.
And it opened at
Eating
6.5, and now it's at 5.5. I don't think the Vikings defense is as good as people are thinking. They were playing the Giants. Like, come on. So I'm with you there. I like the 49ers play. I like all of our plays. I think
We should
might
parlay 'em.
maybe even
I'm literally, I'm doing it right now.
but yeah, I do like all three. Not gambling advice, just kind of what we like. But if you want to tail, feel free to tail. But it's not gambling advice. And if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right. That is it for the week 1 recap and week 2 preview. We'll be back next week with the same thing for week 2 and week 3. If you're here with us on Twitch, throw us a follow if you haven't already, and subscribe if you want to help support us. We also post all these episodes to YouTube, so make sure you subscribe over there as well. Listen on Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcast, and like, rate, and review 5 stars there. It helps us grow and helps us out a ton. And as always, we are on all social medias, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok. Just search Super Fantasy Bros, and you'll find us and can follow us over there. See you guys next week.
Wait,
Peace.
wait.
What?
We have a question.
Oh,
What is
Wow.
McBride worth? And he also has Laporta. I don't know if he has both. If he has both, that is insane.
Do you have both?
I need a little bit more background.
Houdini?
we need some context here.
What this is, yeah.
I think McBride's worth a lot. I think he's
He
a
is.
top 3 tight end, top 4 tight end.
Yeah.
Like we saw his target share, even with Marvin Harrison Jr. He still was like the go-to guy, but I think
A
that
team
changes
that's
a little bit.
desperate for a tight end, I think you could easily get a nice wide receiver too.
I would say
whoever
I'd be
the wide
aiming for like a
receiver
Jalen Waddle type, maybe
Damn.
Devonta Smith.
Rashi Rice.
Like in that range is what he's probably worth, especially if a team is like if they lost Njoku and they just have no tight end.
Yeah.
I think that's what you should be aiming for. I mean, it's going to be tough. You might have to add like a bench wide receiver as well. Like if you have, I can't even think of one off the top of my head, but like a decent bench wide receiver and McBride for Waddle or
Oh my
whatever.
God, you got
Yeah, you got
disrespected so bad.
Yeah, that's bad. I would have to punch that guy in the face.
Yeah,
I don't think
Pickens
I'd even
feels-
take DK for him.
No,
Pickens feels
I
like
wouldn't.
short change. I think
Smitty is the
DK
only one that I would take for McBride in that scenario.
Yeah. If you have like a bench wide receiver like Brandon Cooks or Jacoby Meyer or somebody that you could just throw in as well with that deal, I think it could help. But
I wouldn't I would not be upset just starting both.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
They
think
are
McBride's a
correct.
solid flex too. Like he's gonna get volume. He's not gonna be like crazy upside, but he's gonna be a solid flex play week in, week out if you have to.
HN active.
H-Chan active. Thank God we got that question.
Yep. Start him. Start Achan. He's gonna munch. He's a wide receiver. And he's gonna score. Lock it in.
Yes.
All right. That's a wrap. We'll see y'all next week. Peace.